Welcome everybody to another Friday video, Trucker Money number 63. This is about the week of September 29th through August 2nd. If you're new here, welcome. Glad to have you. A lot of new subscribers to the channel. We just get together every Friday, talk about something other than trucking, because trucking all the time, every day, all day, can get pretty boring and stressful, and you can get burned out. So I like to talk about something that kind of pertains to everybody's life. One of my hobbies, personal finance, investing, business, whatever, anything to do with money. It is not financial advice. It's just me sharing my personal journey, what I've done, and hopes to motivate and inspire somebody else to build a future for themselves, to get started. If you haven't gotten started, think about your kids, your grandkids, future generations. My ideal thing is to build some generational wealth that can last far after I have left this planet. So, first, what do we like here? We side income, passive income. Talk about anything I've done for the week. To earn income other than in my business of trucking. And what do we have this week? We had some rent checks come in for rental properties. I like to set mine up to come in first of the month. That way I don't have to keep going to the bank, putting energy towards it. Just first of the month, deposit the checks. And if everything goes well, you don't really hear from anybody the rest of the month, right? I am fortunate right now. I haven't had a problem on a rental property in actually since last Thanksgiving is the last time somebody had a problem. So it's been enjoyable to this point. Now, also in addition to that, we have some side things we do here with YouTube and promoting some products. Had a little bit of money come in there. Hopefully we're trying to grow that here, increase the presence on YouTube and do more of this. And my favorite thing is a passive income dividend portfolio here that pays me every week of the year. Kind of quiet this year. I did not make any new investments, did not put any new money in. Who paid this week? LTC Properties, Long-Term Care Facilities REIT, they paid this week. AFLAC, y'all know who AFLAC is. They paid their dividend this week. Unilever paid this week. And Honeywell, company I don't talk much about, but should. It's one of my favorites. It's been a long time since I put new money in there, but they're hanging in there at a high price, so it's hard to get a bargain on Honeywell. I'll tell you that. No, like I said, no new purchases. Nobody raised their dividends or cut them in the portfolio. So just kind of a ho hum week there. But that is okay because I didn't really do anything other than look at it this morning and say, "Hey, here's some more money that showed up in there." Now, this week I want to talk about real estate. Assuming if you're watching this, you're probably in the trucking industry because that's who my audience is. And in trying to get people started here, I hear a lot, and it's rightfully so, that I want to get started in real estate, but man, I'm on the road. I'm gone. I don't have the time. Like I got to take time off of work to look at properties and this and that, and then manage. How the hell do I manage a rental property from the road, right? Well, to each his own. And maybe in the future, that's something you can work towards if that's something you're interested in. Or maybe you have family or a spouse that can help you with that. But for the rest of us, there are other ways. There are other ways to get started in real estate that it may even offer some unique opportunities that you wouldn't have with just going out investing in physical properties, right? What I'm talking about is REITs, RETIS. They're real estate investment trusts is what REIT stands for. They are a way to buy, I guess, income producing property as, I guess you could say, as a stock investment, right? But you own part of the company, you benefit from the appreciation and the incomes coming in. Most of them pay a distribution, like a dividend, and you earn money back. Now, it's as simple as that. That's all the time it takes. There's some unique things in REITs that you may not get in investing in physical real estate, rental properties. One, they can have some different tax advantages. Investing in REITs can give you exposure, and I'm about to illustrate this in a minute. Investing in REITs can give you exposure to some properties you might never otherwise be able to participate in. That is one of my favorite parts about REITs, and I'm going to show you here in a second. I'm going to give you 10 REITs. Okay, there's a lot of them. I just kind of picked some ones from some different sectors that I want to talk about. And I learned about a new one today that I did not know about. One of the biggest benefits of REITs and If you can pull this off in your physical rental properties, hey, I want to meet you. I want to know how you got somebody to do it. But a lot of these REITs, especially Realty Income, my hat here, ticker symbol O, most of their leases are triple net leases. Okay, what is a triple net lease? Triple net lease is I buy property, I lease it to a customer like Walgreens, right? And part of the triple net is that Walmart or Walgreens pays maintenance, property taxes, and insurance. So if you're just a guy with a rental property and you say, hey, I'm gonna rent you this property, well, out of the rent, you got to pay maintenance, property taxes, and insurance. The triple net lease, the tenant pays that separate from rent. The bill doesn't even come to you; it goes right to them. So what is then your expenses as the landlord, right? You can run it as a pure business at that point. And typically they're very long-term leases, right? So that's a big plus to me as far as I'm concerned. First, I saw this quote online here and I wanted to post it here and read it because I thought it's kind of one of the things that kind of snaps you back to reality sometimes when you get carried away. It says it's not hard to make money in the market. What is hard is to avoid the alluring temptation to throw your money away on short, get rich quick, speculative binges. It is an obvious lesson, but one frequently ignored. So, what does that mean? That means getting into stuff. All the rage now is meme stocks and crypto and this and that. These trendy things that they're all over the news. Everybody's talking about them. Typically, they're so buy this and it's going to go to the moon. You'll make a lot of money quick. And what the guy is saying here, it's not hard to make money in the market if you adapt a long-term, sensible strategy with a reasonably expected set of outcomes. Right? Ignore get rich quick. Ignore making a lot of money in the short term, because more often than not, you're going to lose your money, or at very best, come out even. That is not how very wealthy people do it. I just thought that was interesting. I wanted to pass it along. The person who wrote that was Burton. What is this guy's name here? Burton Malachile, something like that. I'm in the way. So now let me talk about here. I did a little bit of check-in, and I went through the list of all the REITs in the U.S. and I picked some out here that kind of, I don't know, tried to get some different sectors in there. I didn't want them all retail, didn't want them all industrial. Tried to pick something from each world here that we could pass along to kind of illustrate to you the world that is open to you. Two of these here I own, so let's just talk about them first and get them out of the way. You're probably tired of hearing me talk about them. First one is Realty Income with a current yield of 4.33%. They have 6,500 properties. 608 consecutive dividends paid. They pay every month for 608 consecutive months. 608 divided by 12 is 12 months in a year. That's 50.66 consecutive years without missing a dividend payment. And 109 consecutive quarters of raising it. So yay, Realty Income. That's in this hat. They're known, they branded themselves the monthly dividend company. Very popular. I love that company. I will own it, hopefully forever. Next one is Stag Industrials, a current yield of 4.75%. They are a single tenant industrial property REIT. So they have Amazon properties, all kinds of different warehousing. You're not going to see them with these big buildings with multiple, 5 different companies in there. They like to build specific for a company and get a long-term lease on it. And incidentally, both these companies typically have triple net leases. So big plus. WP Carey, ticker symbol WPC. I do not own this one. However, I am a fan. 5.01% dividend yield right now. 1,215 different properties. The only thing I don't like about WP Carey is they hold some paper. So Realty Income and Stag own all physical property. WP Carey, on the other hand, they are a REIT that owns their equity as well as a debt. So they can hold debt on properties. They trade a little bit in paper. So, but they're a very, very good company as far as I'm concerned. I may eventually get around to investing in them. Another one that boy, I wish I had just millions of dollars, because there's so many things I want to get into. But AMT, American Tower, They are a REIT that it's multi-tenant communication. So cell towers. You ever seen a cell tower up there and they got 5, 10 different satellite dishes on it right there? Those are all different tenants on that tower. And this communications thing is exploding, right? 2.2%, 2.22% current yield, and they are a global company. 219,000 different property sites. Now they probably don't own the land; they will rent the land, own the tower, and lease that on a long-term lease. Interesting. What is the future of communications and data exchange? The next one is ADC. They are another commercial real estate investment trust. Current yield of 3.7%. They have 1,027 properties in 45 states. Typically, you've heard of some of them: Lowe's, Walmart, Wegmans, so grocery stores, big box stores. Intriguing. I don't know a lot about them. The next one is EPR. I'm not partaking in this one, but I just want to illustrate, because the EPR, you can get into the entertainment properties like theme parks, movie theaters, right? Those sorts of things. Now they got rocked during the pandemic when everything had to shut down. For that reason, I'm not really interested in them. 7.72% current yield, $6.7 billion company in 44 states. But too risky for this guy. The next one, DLR, current yield of 4%. Digital Realty is this company. You have 284 facilities. They're in 48 metropolitan areas in 23 countries. DLR, it's data storage. So data storage is becoming a huge deal in this world. Actually, not just in this country, but in this world. So you'll see these. They have one out in Utah, this mega center. They have their own cooling towers and everything for these data storage centers. I don't necessarily agree with that, that they store our information like that, but this is a way you can partake and make money on something like that if you want to. Data storage is massive. It is the future, and there's going to be more of it. You got to ask yourself, do you think we're going more in that direction? Or do you think we're going more away from it? Or, in my opinion, we're definitely going more towards that kind of thing. The next one here, I did not know about this one. I was surprised to hear about it. Americold Realty Trust, ticker symbol COLD, COLD. We all know who Americold is. Did you know they were a REIT? That you can invest in Americold properties? If you're a truck driver, you know who Americold is. One of the biggest cold storage facilities chains in the country. They own Cloverleaf also. They're in multiple countries. I did not know that. They are the largest temperature-controlled warehousing system in the country for sure. I don't know about the world. They've had some struggles. They've struggled with their financials. I don't own them. I probably won't. If I was looking for something like that, my alternative would probably be Prologis, ticker symbol PLD. In my mind, their financials are a little bit healthier, but I want to point that out because I thought that was interesting. I had no idea that Americold was a REIT. No idea at all. The next one, and I am heavily intrigued by this one. It's now on my watch list. I heard about them a long time ago, kind of forgot, and reading about it kind of refreshed my memory. Ticker symbol MPW, Medical Properties Trust. Current yield is 7.98%, 447 facilities in 10 countries on 4 continents. They are a leader in hospital facilities. 54 different tenants. Do you think in the future there's going to be an increased need for hospital type facilities or decreased? I don't know about you, but where I live, there's a new clinic or hospital popping up every year. They're just gangbusters. And I think I want to have more of a piece of it. I do own LTC, which is long-term care facilities. Totally different business model than hospitals. And the last one here, CCI, Crown Castle Incorporated. Current yield of 3.41%. Kind of along the similar lines as American Tower. They own more than 40,000 cell towers. 80,000 miles of fiber optics. They're in every major market in the United States and growing. So they're involved a lot in data exchange, and they'll get involved with the company and bringing data solutions to a company and communications, not just the physical towers and that kind of thing. So it might be a nice complement. I'm intrigued by Crown Castle. I'm gonna look a little bit more into it. I'm glad I did this list today because it's forced me to look at some things and have some alternatives here. One thing worth noting when you look at REITs, it points out that a lot of things are not what you thought they were. So these big businesses, the majors, Walmart, Walgreens, your fast food restaurants, Taco Bell, Rite Aid, Amazon, most Best Buy, right? Lowe's, Home Depot, all of these big businesses. What are they? What are you seeing as a commonality here? They don't own their own real estate, and the reason why is they're not in the real estate business. You take a company like McDonald's, on the other hand, they're actually a real estate company. They hold some of the most valuable real estate in the world. So why do these other companies not want to own their own properties? Well, one, it gives them diversity that they can move. Walmart's, remember years ago when the Walmart supercenters first started coming about, and you saw them moving out of their smaller stores and into the Walmart supercenters? They'd just walk away and leave that store abandoned. Well, they can do that then. They don't own it. It's no consequence to them. They don't want to be in the real estate business. They want to be in the business that they're in, which is selling widgets and goods and services. Right? It's not what we thought it was it? It's a viable way to get started without having to tend to properties and deal with tenants. I don't necessarily endorse any of these. I want to put it out as alternatives to refute that argument that I cannot get started because I don't have time. We have time. We all have time. So everybody take care, and we'll see you next time.